could be your typer, and I could say, yes, Swamp, you could have whatever you want.
Hey everyone, how's it going? We're going to do a quick mic check to see how it's going. So let's let everybody get in the room. It's going to take a moment to filter in. So you can see it's not in yet. There's 0 viewers because it takes a moment.
But the people are chatting.
Right.
How could they be chatting if they're not there?
Because the chat, it's going to take a moment to filter in.
Oh, that sounds good.
You can see it's not in yet. There's 0. All right, sounds pretty good. All right, so that sounds pretty good, right? You guys let us know if the sound is an issue. You know how I am with my microphone. So just give us a heads up if there's any kind of sound problem, and we can always adjust. I hear you. All right, cool.
Yay! And yes, Swamp, you get a free pair of jeans just because you are so funny.
Yes, they're in the mail. Keep looking for them, Swamp. Glenn. Sounds good. Great. Cool. So tonight is a special show because I have Karin on for the very first time. You've seen her from the video. Now she's live in person on video.
You could do your thing now.
Yes.
Our lighting technician is exiting the room in his own special way.
That was our lighting technician. He works cheap, basically for very little, like third world wages and pizza. So, but yeah, so welcome guys. Thanks for coming on tonight. I thought it would be fun to have a show with Karin on, especially since she had such a great video we did last week. And you guys will get a chance to ask her some questions. And two, we talked about an announcement, which we will get to, but that's a little bit further in the show. We'll let a few more people filter in and so on. So again, appreciate you guys coming on a Monday. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
We're good. Did you want to show your shirt? I know you were.
Okay.
So her shirt says.
Oh, you can't see it. Oh, this is gratuitous. There we go. Check your ego, amigo. It was either that or Superman, so.
She's very proud of her shirt. What's the story behind that shirt?
That's my super fan watch you play soccer shirt.
Oh, really? I forgot that.
You're quite the soccer star. Don't they know?
No, they don't know. Because it's not true. So yeah, that was the shirt she wore while watching me play soccer. I think she was trying to send me a message there about checking my ego.
No, it was for the other team.
Oh, okay.
Oldest, loudest, most enthusiastic cheerleader of soccer ever.
There we go. I think there's an award for that somewhere.
I think so.
All right, cool. We'll get right on that. Cheap, you don't have an escalator. I see what you did there. He's talking about Ben.
The funny guy that just left the room?
Yeah, we don't have an escalator. Once I get to the end of this gene challenge, we're going to put one in right there. There's going to be an escalator that's going to go, I don't know, just down into the earth and back up. There's really no reason for it to go anywhere else. That could be my storage room down below, right? I can store, 25,000 pair of jeans down there. So, but again, guys, thanks for being on. Obviously, this afternoon we had a little chat, so I'm not going to rehash everything there. I did want to say, though, that one of the things I did this afternoon, or since this afternoon, a couple things really happened. And one is I went ahead and started a sale, a 10% off sale for the rest of this week on eBay. So I'm going to try to pop a few more sales with that 10% off. Usually that works.
Mm-hmm. It has so far.
Yeah, the 20% off worked really well last month. Really got a lot of sales out of that. So I'm thinking 10% off. We're going to move towards that back to school before you know it in the colder weather. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of hold our price a little bit. So that is in the works on eBay. And the second thing that happened was I went ahead and set up my hosting for the website, and I'm going to be giving the developer access to install the WordPress theme, which apparently you have to give them admin access, which kind of stinks. It's like, I really don't want to do that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do that without giving away my admin access. I'm sure it'll be fine. I checked the guy out, but hey, you never know, right? You give it up. So how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully good. If you've got questions and so on, as always, please type, 2 or 3 question marks in the chat box. I'll be manning the chat tonight while Karin is talking. It's going to be her show, not my show.
Wait, I thought I got to man the chat.
No, we can't let her man the chat. It'll just be chaos. So
is that so bad?
No, actually, it's not.
We'd have fun, I promise.
Yes, we would have fun. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, so tonight is going to be about, the show is going to be about us reselling, obviously, as a couple, which is a whole different dynamic. I know we've talked about on the videos and the vlogs about how, you know, it's an advantage to have two people when you're working this business, but there's some disadvantages too, I think, at times that can come up. But we wanted to talk about what that's like, having the both of us being able to work in this business and kind of what our goals are going forward. So why don't you tell people how it's been for you, Karin, this is like I'm interviewing you.
Well,
how it's been for you to, you know, become a part of this business and what that's been like for you and what your takeaways have been.
Well, I think that I kind of didn't have a choice. I mean, we kind of started this. I mean, I was kind of along for the ride when it first started. Anyway, so as far as me becoming a regular partner, I mean, that was just second nature. I was already going along for the hauls and the shopping, and it just sort of lent itself easily to.
I'm gonna move this here just to give us a little better coverage.
Okay.
All right.
That's Mr. Microphone. I'm challenged by it.
Go ahead.
Okay, where was I? So natural thing, starting to shop, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely challenge you.
How do you challenge me?
I do it differently. I make you look at it through different eyes. I think I make you look at it differently. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think you might miss some things as a result because your approach is sort of set, and I kind of make some suggestions that make you step outside of your box sometimes. So, and I think you hit on it. I mean, being able to do it with someone else is a lot more fun, isn't it? It can get kind of lonely and boring. Yeah,
it definitely does. I noticed when I'm with her, guys, and we are out sourcing jeans, for instance, that we buy more. I don't buy as much when I'm with her, and that's kind of odd, and I think it's because she picks up items, sees items maybe that I don't see. She is a little bit more about making sure that we get items in a store versus just, you know, putting items back if they're not great. Whereas I'm like very picky sometimes, which is probably a downside. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think you have in your head probably your top 5. And when you're by yourself, you stick to that top 5. When we go together, I'm concentrating more on the top 10, etc. You know, this last trip, we were talking about it this morning, this last trip that we went on, what was it, 137 last Saturday?
Yeah.
We've got some, and part of the video that we did, the dominating denim video, I think that ended up being the title, but part of that video was experiments that we'd taken. And there were even some pairs that were experiments that weren't even included in there. You know, people always ask about, you know, brand names and things. We branched out into some Banana Republic denim, as well as those black leather pants, cabbies, CABI. That's a more private, sort of Avon almost-esque sort of clothing brand, but they're pretty pricey. So we're going to try them out as well. And there were some other ones in there too. But I think that another thing we talked about going forward is maybe expanding what our comfort zone is. If we're going to get to 5,000 pair of jeans, it's not going to be only listing Levi's. So we're going to have to expand our horizons of denim a little bit more and step out of our own box that we've created here. So,
yeah. That's a good point. Swamp has a question here and says, Karin, have you ever come behind Jason, bought something he passes on, bought and sold it for a good price?
Of course.
Thanks, Swamp.
If you ever hear one of us say rookie mistake, why is that? I know it's like you're supposed to be asking me, but what does it mean when we say rookie mistake?
It means that the other person missed something.
Yeah, but what does it really mean?
It means I missed something.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, in all seriousness, once he sort of zippy skippies through a row, I will seldom go back through it. And mainly because I don't want to hear about it. Well, what do you mean? Why are you doing that? I just did that already. So I'm confident that he's gone through and done, like I said, the top 5s. And we're on a time schedule when we're in a store. So it's really just not time effective for me to go back through and double check him. Although I have before, and yes, to answer your question, yeah, he's maybe missed 1 or 2. It doesn't happen very often.
Didn't happen.
It did happen. You can trust me.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a good point though. With 2 people, obviously we have the ability to catch things that each other miss. And that's happened many times. I mean, we'll catch something that the other person didn't see, whether good or bad. And I mean, it's going to happen. You're in these stores, and we talked about this in your video. It's dark. You feel like you need to be in a rush because you want to get to the next store, the next store, the next store. And it's easy to kind of skip over things, or maybe gloss over a defect or a stain, or I mean, it's happened to us many times, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we talked, another thing we brought up this morning, remember when we were talking about the defects,
Mm-hmm.
we just came upon a pair of Big Star, which have a lot of stretchy in them, like the Vigos do.
Mm-hmm.
And a very easy defect to miss is the denim pattern is vertical in the back. And oftentimes, because people are putting them on a little too tight, perhaps, they get those vertical rips right there by the pocket. And we found a pair. It was a beautiful pair of jeans, but just on closer inspection, just a little tweak, and there's the rip. And you wouldn't see it if you weren't looking for it. So.
Yeah, and I think I missed those, right?
Rookie mistake.
There it is. You heard it straight from her. But so obviously, we've talked about what it's like to be able to work together and go behind each other and find mistakes, but also go, we're able to go through a store quickly. I mean, so what is, because we talked about this some in your video, but not a lot. So what's your strategy when you go in the store versus mine, or what's your perception of it? Because we approach it a little differently.
Well, the approach is, my goal is to get it done, get it all done in the most effective and methodical way possible. And when I go in there, I'm going to start in one spot, go up the row, down the row, and I used my hand, somebody pointed out, to demonstrate before, but it's up one row, down the other. I'm careful to check men's and women's sections. A lot of times you'll find that Goodwills will misplace certain brands in the maternity section that shouldn't be there. And a lot of times we find men's, because men's jeans are fewer and far between compared to women's. So we want to sort of make sure when we're there that we're checking every possible corner, nook, and cranny to make sure that we've exhausted every pair of men's jeans possible in any location.
Right. And I mean, you're there, so there's no reason to leave until you've looked at it all, even though sometimes I'm the one who wants to leave a little early and we go on to the next one.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. So, all right. So Silver Hair Stacker says, when will we see the introduction of Prof and Karin private label jeans?
I got, what, 4,500 more pair of jeans to take pictures of here? I don't know about that. That's a great idea, but
yeah,
not anytime soon. Maybe we'll make hats. We'll make hats.
We could. I could probably design a hat. I know they're round and go on your head.
A beret. We'll make berets.
A raspberry one.
Yes.
Giga Walker says, can you say what brands you're buying?
Well, we've sort of touched on that. I mean, we kind of, we hesitate, and it's not that we're not going to tell you, but we hesitate to tout a certain brand or another because when YouTubers, is that what you are? You're a YouTuber?
Sure.
When YouTubers make claims like that, what we have here is not necessarily going to be what you have in your neck of the woods. But sure, by all means, we're looking for Levi's. It's the top listed brand out there right now. What are some of the other ones? We're partial to Lucky. I'm going to leave some out. We talked about Cabbies and Banana Republic. Those are some new ones that we're trying. BKE. I mean, you guys can type up the last time we started talking about brands, everybody sort of jumped in and added their own 2 cents to that. American Eagle. Help me out here. What else?
7 for All Mankind.
Oh, 7 fams. And I'll make him buy 7s too, because they can be pretty sharp too. Express.
Express, yeah. Re-Rock, especially Re-Rock for Express, tends to be a little more design heavy and go for a little bit better price, I find. But Swamp says True Religion, of course. Diesel, you just don't find too many of them.
Yeah, the TRs, we've found a lot of, what are they called? Fakes?
Yep, a lot of fakes are out there.
With the TRs. Hudson?
Hudson, yep.
We don't find very many of those either. Who else is over there? Oh, Silver. I love Silver. They're beautiful.
Silver's great.
Beautiful pants. We
Miss
talked about,
yep.
Oh, Miss Me, Vagos, Coogies.
Coogie.
And I know that's not how to say it, but how else are you going to say a word with C-O-O-G-I? It's Coogie.
It's Australian for beer.
But yeah, I get it. Coogie. We get those too. But what else? I mean,
that's probably about it off the top of our head.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a few other random ones here and there, but nothing in any kind of those numbers. Yvonne says, Karin, what niche would you choose for yourself if not jeans?
Ooh, that's a...
AG. Oh, we forgot those in Citizens. Yep, sorry. Forgot those.
Yep. We definitely do those, Yvonne, as well. Ooh, that's a great question, because I might actually be having to delve into that at some point. But you guys have talked about, why you do what you do, and you kind of have to like it, love it, have some knowledge. Some people some people sell vintage items because they've always had a passion for it, or they currently collect it. Am I good?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what would I sell?
That's a good question.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Maybe you can give that a little thought. We'll come out with another video.
Okay, let's do that. We'll do Karin's niche in part 2.
Right. Gigawalker says, is Silver a brand? Yes, it's a Canadian brand, although not really made in Canada, but it comes from Canada, and you'll see them. I don't know if I've got one here. I probably don't have one right handy, but a lot of times they'll have like an S shape on the back pocket, which is embroidered. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I mean, can zip over there and get
it's okay. It's not that big a deal.
They're beautiful jeans.
Yeah, they're nice. They make men's and women's, but again, you're always going to find a lot more women's. We find women's like 5 or 6 to 1 over men. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
It's pretty big. It's like, I was keeping that stat at one point, guys, and it was like 85% women's and 15% men's. So, but we are talking about moving into lower price brands.
Yeah, because we talk a lot about, the question came up today during the vlog about selling in volume or selling more for less of a profit. And I'd rather see us price the jeans at the price that we're currently pricing them at, and then do a sale, 10% off, 20% off, and go from there. I mean, you can't go up. Once you've priced them lower, you're not going to raise the price. You're just going to put them on sale. So logically, to me, it's worth a try to put them. We're not overpricing them. Right. We're just pricing them at the going rate that they're selling at currently anyway. And you said yourself that the profits this month, although the sales are not the same, the profit is. Right. So there's something to be said about that, I think.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, and we're realizing, guys, we have this goal to list 4,900 pair of jeans, and we were talking about that earlier, how long that's going to take and what that's going to take. And the reality is, with the brands that we are getting right now, it's a little bit tricky to do that. I think it's just we may have to expand our brands out a little more to do that. It's just, because we're talking about being able to buy somewhere around 350 pair of jeans a week. And obviously that's going to require us to go to other places, not just our town, our city, which has a lot of supply, but it doesn't have that kind of supply. But if we can expand out maybe another 3, 5, 7 brands, we should be able to hit that number a lot easier. And, we'll see. But 4,900 is a big number. I mean, how are we going to get there?
That's a great question. On a wing and a prayer.
Wing and a prayer. One pair of jeans at a time. But guys, this is something we were talking about in the vlog earlier today. Even if you don't get there, we're going to get somewhere with this. I mean, we can get there. It's just a matter of when. And so we're going to learn things along the way and evolve and change, and that's going to be kind of fun. So, so we're just looking to kind of make this quite the endeavor here.
Yes, you are, aren't you?
I know. We've got a lot of things. Silver says, I find that Wranglers are easy to sell. Yep. Wrangler's not a brand I've sold a lot. I've sold a couple of them, but not that many. Cheryl says Canadians are
the Canadian knows them.
Yeah, the silvers are tough to find. Yeah, they're great. They're a great jean. I always keep thinking I'm going to find a pair of my size, but I never do. Mm-mm. And Yvonne says, have you found a big E Levi yet? No.
Oh, I thought we found one and it wasn't, we couldn't buy it or something.
I don't remember that. Did we? Oh. I don't remember that. We've not found one to sell. Mm-mm. Let's put it that way.
No. We found some of the silver, the special ones though, the silver tag or whatever.
Silver tab, yeah. Silver tab, sure. So, you know, we're working on it. Hey guys, 24 people watching right now. Thank you very much for that. If you get a chance, please hit the like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And so would you too. It's a shameless plug for me liking or me getting you to like my video and really her video. So, Nose Picker says, do you do any, that's a great name, by the way.
Nose Picker?
That's right. Do you do any advertising? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Nose. Like what sort of advertising on eBay or somewhere else, or I'm not really sure. So if you could clarify that, that'd be cool because I'm not sure what the question is there. But yeah, so we obviously have a different way of going about sourcing. Karin has been great in learning along with me. Oh, I got you, Nose. Like we buy jeans. Okay, I understand what you're saying. No, not at this point. We could do that, but I just feel like it's going to be so many one-offs that you're going to deal with there, or people that, or even two or three here or there. I don't know that it's really makes sense to drive around and pick things up. And I just think that a lot of times, people are going to end up giving you stuff that's soiled or ripped or torn. I mean, sometimes it's because they can't wear it anymore, but I don't know. Maybe that would be profitable to try. I've never tried it. What do you think about that?
We've talked about it. Well, we don't. Some of the folks outside of our area have the benefit of they can buy them in bulk cheaper. You had some folks that were talking about they can buy them for 99 cents at the retirement home or this thrift store or this consignment store, and we just don't have that. We don't even have, in our metro area, we don't have a Goodwill. We have a weigh and pay, but it's yucky. I mean,
it's not good.
You have to fight to get at the table, and what's there is not worth. I don't think we would even, because that's the thing for us. We don't buy anything that we wouldn't wear or buy or give ourselves, right?
Right.
So we're not uber picky, but we're selective. And that time that I went to the weigh and pay with you, it was awful.
Yeah, and that's how it normally is.
Well, when we went to that one store up north where they had half off all the time, which would be the equivalent of our weigh and pay.
Just about, yeah, sure.
And on Thursdays, everything clothing was 99 cents or something.
Right.
That was a great place. They had quality merchandise. So if we had something like that, it would be awesome. But we check ads, we check Craigslist. We have entertained buying them in bulk from ads on Craigslist, but we're running into the same thing where it's, we place ads on Craigslist when we're getting rid of a pile of our defects. And the difference between our pile and maybe Joe's pile is that we will disqualify a pair of jeans for a lot less than most people. We had a pair this morning that, I can do 99% of it on my own, but even I was sort of skeptical. It had a little teeny hole right next to the button above the zipper, and it was enough that we just put it in the defect pile.
Yeah.
And when we do look at ads on Craigslist, it's other resellers most of the time doing the same thing, getting rid of what they can't sell. So in that case, it wouldn't benefit us at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky to get jeans in bulk. It's not impossible, obviously, but it depends on lots of factors. And we're going to be looking for ways to do that more efficiently. Obviously, if you can go and buy 1 or 2 or 300 pair at once, it's a lot better than having to drive to many stores. Cheryl Ann says, I like not reaching my 1K items listed. Means I am selling a lot. Yeah, it absolutely means that, Cheryl. I mean, if you're listing 10 items a day and you're selling 5, well, you're going to only add 5 to your total, which is going to take you a long time to get up to higher and higher totals, which is great. Yvonne says, wasn't silver a trendy brand a few years ago? Sold the buckle. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing about those trendy brands, Yvonne, because we were talking about Coogi earlier. Coogi is a niche market. I mean, it's a certain customer who's going to buy that. It's not a widespread brand by any means. But the people who like it really like it because it's unique and it's different. And it's not even just the fit with a brand like Coogi or even silver to a large extent. It's the design. It's the look of it. Because, jeans guys never forget, and this is the hard part about selling jeans or selling anything really. You may view jeans as just something to wear and something, a pair of pants, to have on your body when you, get up in the morning. But a lot of people view jeans as a fashion statement. And so they want they're trying to get something different. I mean, the fit's important, but so is the look. And a brand like Coogi or Silver, which have distinctive looks, there's a group of people out there who are going to buy them. And I will always pick up jeans like that have a good name for quality and have a niche following. And these are the type jeans, maybe not so much Coogi or a Silver. Silver's probably a little more widespread than Coogi these days, but I sell a lot of Coogi overseas. But if you go and look on eBay for the number of Coogi listings at any one time, it's probably a few hundred. I mean, I haven't looked at it lately, but it's not anywhere near, the bigger brands. But there's a niche following out there, people who are always looking for them because they're a little tougher to find and they're always unique designs. So, it's not like they're not all very similar like Levi would be. So Yvonne says, yeah, clicks set the tone for what's trending in an area. Exactly. And, you can tap into that and you can find those markets, guys, on eBay. They are all over the place because when you're sourcing an item like jeans, I think you're going to see a lot of the same, the bigger brands, but there's tons of other niche brands like Coogi and Silver that have great sell-through, sell for good money, and you can find them pretty regularly. I mean, you're not going to find them in every store and every trip, but you're going to find them enough that when you see them, they're going to stick out. Like Coogi stick out every time I see them. They're usually bigger and lots of designs, but anyway, so
we don't have any here right now.
Yeah, I don't think we have any right now on the show. But if you've ever seen them, you'll know what we're talking about. So all right, so we're about halfway through the show. So I thought maybe this would be a good time to, if you wanted to, Karin, to talk about your announcement. And I'm just going to give you the floor and let you say whatever you want to say about it. So feel free. The microphone is yours.
The rabbit died. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I told you we were going to be silly. Okay, so the big announcement is that today I gave my 2 weeks notice at my desk job that I've had for the last 5 years. And in 2 weeks, I will technically be unemployed. That's the big news. That's the big reveal. You want to know why?
Yeah, look, project.
I'm trying to project without sticking my face in the microphone. I'm trying to speak louder. Let me drink some of my Walking Dead water. Hold on. So, yeah, thanks, Leisure Picker. It's not entirely to do this, but certainly if I have more time away from my office, it will help this because we were going over the numbers today, and it's going to take a lot more effort to get to 5,000 listings, which is the goal. Aw, thank you. Leisure Picker is very nice.
Yeah. So, just as a recap there, guys, she's going to leaving the safety and security, quote unquote, ha ha ha, right, of a corporate job to move on to greener pastures. And so Yvonne says, not unemployed, now you're an entrepreneur too. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, guys. And one of the things I think we fight against, and maybe you fought against it too, and Karin and I have had this discussion many times, is about you're kind of sold this idea that a job is safe and secure for you, and it's going to provide benefits and pay and a place to work, and you're going to be there as long as you want. But we know that that's really not true.
Mm-hmm.
And so Karin, made a decision to, not so much that she's walking away from one thing, but that she's running towards something else. And I got to applaud her for that. And that takes a lot of courage to do. It's not easy to leave jobs, no matter what they are, especially once you've been there for several years and you've developed a certain level, you've had some success and, so on. So we're excited about it. She's got some other opportunities she's going to be doing, as well as working in the business. Well, she's already been working the business, so more time. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to
I'm supposed to be talking. I'm the boss. Well, so anyway. So, and in my situation, it was an easy quit. I don't know how much detail you guys want me to go into here, but
Sure. Tell me whatever you want.
I'm not leaving a friendly environment. It wasn't for me. I'm probably a little thin-skinned. I'm old school. I believe that, at the end of the day, if you do a good job and you work hard, that should be enough. And the place that I was working just wasn't a healthy place. And it's been something has been going on there for way too long. And I was sort of in a place a few years back where I probably wasn't in the best frame of mind for a while. And so I sort of let that place define me, and you can't do that. I've been self-employed most of my life. And if Jason sort of sounds like he's, sort of outlining it all for you guys, he's my biggest cheerleader. So he's been giving me tons of encouragement, because it was all I could do not to leave this job a year ago and just walk away. But now I have, some things sort of happened that made it easier for me to go when I did. But, I think things happened as they should, and happened in a time and a way that they should. So it made it a lot easier for me to go when I did. And I'm looking forward to it. And honestly, as long as I'm gone from there, anything that happens at this point will be good. And I've always been of the mindset that if I had to go back and work at McDonald's, I would. I have the lighting guy earlier was my teenage son. He just turned 16, and we've been really pushing him to help with this business. And we just didn't get it. It's easy. It's monotonous. We'd pay him really, really well to help with taking pictures, and he just wouldn't do it. I think I got him to do one set of pictures, and when I corrected him and made him do them over again, he was done. That's enough for me. And here I am feeling as though we've made no impact on him, and that he was going to forever be a ukulele playing, mission serving, surfboard riding, whatever you want to call it. And he's a great kid, don't get me wrong. He went out and got his own job today. So I think that in that instance, we still instilled the go-get-em entrepreneurial, that's an awkward word. Anyway, you know what I mean, spirit. But I think he just needed to do it in his own way, on his terms. And it sounds like he's gotten he's going to make less, but they're going to give him free pizza. So who knew? We could have paid him less and fed him more. I don't know how that works.
We missed out.
But are we missing any questions? I don't want to just.
Yeah, we missed somebody's question. I'm going to scroll back up and see what it was. It said, Swamp said, do you plan on going sourcing more out of your area now? I guess since you've left your job.
Yes, and actually, I have some opportunities coming up where I'll be traveling without Jason out of state. And I'm already talking about sourcing, making sourcing part of my trips when I'm traveling for this other opportunity that I have. But we as a team will start making more day trips. We do so well, especially in areas where we haven't been before. Our virgin stores, that I like to call them, I think we do really well. And we're talking about maybe doing another trip, in a week?
Yep.
Where we'll go and spend the whole day out again. Maybe we could do a video then too. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, and guys too, just the fact, I gotta say, for my own selfish needs, I'm going to like having her around a lot more. You know, for personal reasons, obviously, and also the business reasons, just to, you know, it's like two people are not twice as fast and efficient. They're like 3 times as efficient.
Mhm.
I mean, it speeds you up and allows you to do things in ways that you just can't even imagine when it's just you. And I mean, there's definitely benefit to doing it on your own, and I can appreciate that. But man, when you have another person, it multiplies you so much, and there's just no value on that, especially when somebody is committed, somebody who's competent, somebody you can trust, that you don't have to train anymore. You know, I mean, all those things are obviously big pluses for, you know, our relationship now. And we look at it like this is an opportunity for us to even be closer. And
Oh, definitely.
so,
And we talked about, one of the concerns that I had is that it's a business. It's a business for us, and things are happening and decisions are being made and foundations are being laid that I'm missing out on. And I want to be a part of the business from the beginning. And, you know, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago where I said, the longer I stay at my job, the more I miss out on here. I think that puts our business at a disadvantage. And I said, if, you know, the longer I have to stay at that job and potentially have to go look for another 9-to-5 job, the more likely I'm not going to be available for this business. So I think everything just sort of came together in a way, just the best way possible. I really believe that.
yeah, it's funny how the timing sometimes, you think you know what the timing of everything is going to be, and then life, you know, throws a few curveballs at you, and you know, you have to do it on a different time frame. I just think it's a little ironic or just interesting how the universe balanced out today. She left her job, her son gets a job. So
yeah, he sent me a text. He's like, yeah, Ma, while you're unemployed, that was the big announcement, that the boy who's never had a job before got a kind of a job. He's like, yeah, you're going to be out of one and I'm going to have one. And I said, wait, what? Are you trying to tell me that you got a real job? And he's like, yeah, check it out. And he did. And it was really,
Yeah.
it was really amazing what he did. He happened to be in the right place at the right time. He just walked in, asked for an application, which if you knew him, you wouldn't believe that he did it in the first place.
Right.
But
That's
he
great.
asked, and as he's walking out, the owner is sitting there talking to someone else. And he said, you know, he yelled over to him. He said, hey, and he's like, me? And he walked over, and then they struck up a conversation, and he basically got the job on the spot, and he starts next Thursday.
Yeah, he found a place that is very close to where we live. I mean, he can literally walk to this place.
He could spit to this place.
Yeah, or ride his bike. And, you know, what are the chances? He goes in to apply for a job. The owner happens to be there, gives him a job on the spot. I mean, so much of life is timing, right?
Yeah, it's
just funny. And, you know, good for him. I applaud him for being able to do that. I mean, that's awesome.
Darren is heckling you.
Yeah, Darren's heckling me with.
Who is this Darren Eckelman?
I'm gonna make it competitive for you, Jason. It's already competitive, Darren, but I'm gonna let you know a little secret, Darren.
It's hot in here.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. The only person that I compete with is me. You know, and I've talked about this before, and I hope you guys take this to heart, because I really truly believe this, and I've really started living this way kind of for about the last year now. Really, it's evolved, but you know, the only person you're ever in competition with is yourself. I mean, I really believe that. And because if you play the comparison game and you say, well, he's doing this or she's doing that, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So I look at like how I'm doing versus myself and how I'm progressing. And, you know, that's my competition. I compete against my own numbers. The other people out there, I can't do anything about them. You know, I can't stop them. So, but, you know, oh, cool. He's, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is sustainable. I mean, you know, Darren, whatever works for you. I mean, I just so firmly believe that now. It's like, I hate to keep getting on a soapbox about it, but it's really true. You know, it's just, you compare yourself to other people, you will drive yourself crazy.
Well, and whatever you do, like Darren, I mean this, it's a term of endearment, but you will forever be Darren Heckelman to me. And I mean that in the nicest way, I promise. If you knew me, you'd know that it's just, I love you. But you bring up a good point. Whatever you do, whether it's jeans or statues or shoes or whatever, become knowledgeable, research it, do market comparisons, don't just go out there blind, and work it. I mean, I think eBay and Amazon, well, eBay more than, well, however, whatever platform you use, it's pretty much going to do the selling part work for you. You're going to put it out into the universe, and people are going to look at it and they're going to buy it or not. But it all depends on what you did prior to making that listing. And that includes educating yourself, inspecting your merchandise, putting up listings that are complete and honest, and pictures that tell the story. You said something the other day about people that, did a video for every shirt. Okay, that's a little overkill. You don't have to make a video for everything that you sell, but take good pictures, watch YouTube videos, see how other people are doing it, and then make it your own. And there's something, you asked earlier, I think, did Yvonne ask about what my niche would be? Right.
If it wasn't jeans.
I think that it just needs to be something that you have some sort of connection or passion to. It could be sports memorabilia or sport cards, although they're not doing very well. I have a whole room full of sport cards that we're just kind of sitting on.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So we really don't know what to do with them because they're just not selling right now.
Right.
But whatever it is, turn a lifelong collection into something. One of the things I was going to try to do today, is you'll probably inspire me to have my own YouTube channel at some point. And it'll be a little more fun. I mean, whimsical. I mean, girly. I don't know. But my thing is, we did the Whole30 diet, and I love cooking and taking pictures of my food, almost excessively and annoyingly to most of the people that I know. But maybe it'll have a little bit of that. But
I like eating it.
Well, yeah. Doing dishes? No, not so much. But that's something that appeals to me. So I'll find a way to work that into it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing something that I enjoy, because I didn't enjoy what I did before.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's key. I mean, you've got to have some love for what you're doing in life. I mean, to sit there in a cubicle just year after year and just punch buttons, and this is the way I look at it. She's leaving her job, but when you leave a job with someone else, you're leaving your place in their dream. I mean, that's not your dream. That's their dream. So, and that's fine. They can have it, but it's very hard to buy into someone else's dream. I mean, I think you have to have your own and figure out what that looks like and evolve and change. I mean, that's a great thing about being in business for yourself. You get to have your own dream. You get to do it your way. You get to write your own book. You don't have to do it the way I do it, or the way Texas Gal Treasures does it, or Swamp Picker, or Mr. Sadie. I mean, we can all do it differently.
Don't forget Darren Heckelman.
And Darren Heckelman, as she likes to call you now. But, I think you have to always think about that. So if you're in a job, right now that is just dragging you down, and I mean, every job drags me down, so that's why I just don't do it anymore. I work for myself. But if you're in a job that's just dragging you down and it's not giving you any joy in your life, why are you doing it? Why keep doing it? Find a way out. Get out of it. Do something different. Doesn't matter. It's not about money. It's not about benefits. You can find all those things. I mean, you just gotta figure out your own path and walk it. So, Philo Seller says, thank you so much for this tonight. I just gave my 2-week notice today to sell full-time on eBay. Nice.
Did you really? That's awesome. Congratulations. We'll have to have a reunion in 2 weeks, because my 2 weeks is up on the 19th, and we're going to celebrate. Yes.
Yes. But, and then she's going to go right to work.
Yeah. Well, then I'm going to, take a trip somewhere. But yeah, that's so awesome. Go up, do that little thing that you do, and go up and see if there's other questions.
Was there any other questions?
There might be.
Somebody had a question and I missed it.
Yeah. Yes, Swamp Picker, I am more fun, and don't you forget it.
Oh, Brian. Yeah, Brian, I think I missed your question earlier. Brian says, do you ever feel like podcasts are taking away from the productivity of the business? Well, I would say no, and I'll tell you why. I set times to be working on my business, in my business. Unfortunately, I have to work in it too, which stinks. But I set times to do all that. I also set times to work on, the other parts of it. What I do on this YouTube channel is part of my business. I have learned so much from this community. I have been stretched and grown in ways, just even the last 2 or 3 months, that I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, people ask certain questions, suggest things, they get me thinking about it. And the teacher in me has to come out. And that's how it comes out. But at the same time, the feedback that I get back from you guys teaches me. I mean, and I think you always learn something better when you teach it anyway. If you can teach it, you really know it. Sorry, it's Facebook dinging me. But no, I don't think it does at all, Brian, to answer your question. I think quite the opposite. I think it enhances it. And, it's been nothing but a blessing for me. And we've had an awful lot of fun doing it. And just being part of this community and watching this community form around it. So, Yvonne said, it's a morale booster, socialize. Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, if I say something that helps somebody in any little way, I mean, that is hugely profound, and I mean, I can't go do that. I'm not going to just go outside and start talking to people and hope that it says something, and say something that'll impact them. But I can come on here with like-minded people and find a community that is interested in a lot of the same subjects, and together we can learn from each other and get better at what we're doing and evolve. And to me, that's a huge rush. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I've been most impressed with how supportive everybody is. It's been well, I don't think you would do anything that wasn't supportive or positive, but most everybody has good, productive things to say. Constructive criticism, I think there's a time and place for that. I think that's what I've liked most about this. Yeah.
No, I agree. And it's, the community is the big part of it. If you were making videos or podcasts or whatever it was, and no one was watching and no one ever commented and no one ever gave you any feedback, I mean, imagine if you made videos and turned off comments and never did live shows. I mean, I can't imagine doing that, but I think there are people who do that.
Well, I would say this, because I think just doing it, putting it out there in the universe is therapy. I mean, somebody, I think Tech Scale said earlier that did you really do a cat video? Good for you. But I think that just the effort in making it and expressing yourself, that's therapy. If you didn't have this, then what? I mean, you could drum, but you couldn't drum for hours in a day.
Well,
maybe you could, but this is an outlet, and maybe, some other people could comment on what it means to them. Not so much the watching part, although maybe that's an outlet as well, but just sort of creatively putting yourself out there into the universe. I think that's therapeutic as well.
Yeah. So, and it's what you get from it, guys. And it's what you make of it. I mean, there's lots of successful resellers in this community, and however they define success, because I can't define your success for you. And, some of them have YouTube channels, some of them are on social media, some of them are not, some of them you never ever hear from. There's no way that you, there's no real right way to do it. I mean, because we're all individuals. So you have to find what works for you, what works for your situation. And I'm not talking about the sourcing and that part and listing and all that stuff. I'm talking about what you do when you're not doing those things, because, we're not machines. We can't sit here and source and list and take photos, 15, 18 hours a day and sleep for 6 or 7 hours and get up and do it again. I mean, maybe if you're 20 years old, you can do that and you've got all the energy in the world, but I know I can't. You got to have breaks. You got to have downtime. You've got to have things that take you to places that, you will find your joy as well. And it's not just all in the listing. It's not all just about money. It's not all about just items. It's about lots of things. So I don't know. That was kind of a long-winded answer, so sorry about that.
I don't even remember the question.
Yeah, I don't either. What was I talking about?
Who are you? I'm going to drink some more Walking Dead water.
Drink some more Walking Dead water. Yeah, Pete's in the house. What's up, Pete, the Craigslist hunter? Appreciate you coming on tonight. Brian says, it's entertainment. I get so bored listening by myself, and yeah, you learn a little something. Yeah, I mean, that's it, Brian. I mean, that's kind of it. Jason, fill your fridge with Red Bull. You can do it. No, it's Monster, Darren. I'm a Monster guy. But Red Bull, all right, that's fine. If that's your thing, that's cool too. Texas gal, I love your videos. Your cat is precious. Thanks. Nice. Yeah, I think I need to make more cat videos, but we don't have a cat, so that's going to be a problem.
Okay, we'll get a cat.
We'll get a cat.
And a puppy. We need to get a puppy.
Yes, a puppy would be good. But in all seriousness, guys, outside of that, with Karin leaving now and going out of, leaving her job, we are looking to push this business to new heights. And, we've got this challenge going right now to get up to 4,900 listings. And, the only way it's kind of cool, because the only way we realized we're going to get to it is we'd have to be, I can't do it alone. I was going to have help. Mm-hmm. And the fact that now a lot of that help is going to come from her is so huge. Because of all those reasons I listed earlier, we don't have to hire someone right away. We don't have to train them. We don't have to worry about, are they trustworthy? Are they competent? I mean, I know she's all those things, and she knows that I am. So we've got a big leg up, I think, on anybody else who's having to go out and find an employee. Not that we won't have to find an employee eventually. I mean, we will. There's no way to do that many listings and that much sourcing. So, so I'm excited about that. So
me too,
for selfish reasons. How many listings do you currently have active? Jeans is about 575, I think, right now, Darren. So I've got a long way to go on this challenge.
And we were just talking about those numbers too. Jason does his vlogs periodically through the week, and part of the vlog is sharing the spreadsheet. It's full disclosure. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But even I was looking at the numbers today, and we make jokes, every time the cha-ching happens in the background, whatever we're doing, watching TV, sleeping sometimes when the rookie forgets to turn it off in the middle of the night. But, our numbers, we're not listing as much as we could. We both agree on that. But, if we could just stop selling things, we could get a handle on, getting to max listing quicker and better, I think. But, we don't really want to stop selling things. But it's I don't mean to say it's an obstacle, but if our goal is to list a bunch of stuff, if we're constantly taking listings away, then it means we have to up our game. Basically, we need to take a lot more pictures and list a lot more jeans.
Yeah. I actually figured out some of the numbers, guys, because here's the way I think about it. And you could probably apply this in your own situation. So if you take 4,900 and subtract basically about 570, that leaves 4,330. So if you divide that by, say, 365 days in a year, that would be 12 listings a day, which is not that many, right? The problem with that math is you have to net 12 listings per day. So if you sell 10 and you want to net 12 listings that day, that means you need to list 22. Does that make sense to everyone? Hopefully it did. I'm not sure I explained it the best way. But basically, you've got to list 12 more jeans every day. We have to list 12 more jeans every day, then we sell. So if we list 5, if we sell 5, we got to list 17. If we sell 10, we got to list 22, and so on and so on. So when you think about it that way, that's not a big problem right now in the slow period of the year. But when you get to, when we start reaching totals like, say, around 2,000 pair of jeans, and if we are hitting those 1% sell-through numbers like I did last year, I mean, that's selling 20 pair a day and having to list 32. That gets tougher because, you sit here and you say to yourself, I could list 32 pair of jeans, and you're right, you can. But when you've got to list 32 every single day of the month, that means you've also got to photograph 32. That's 6 photos for each pair. That's 192 photos a day. You've got to buy 32. You've got to, source 32. You've got to store 32. You've got to ship and pack and ship 32. That's where it will start getting tougher, and we're going to have to kind of flex in probably other people at that point, because you won't be able to keep up with that with just one person. Maybe 2 can do it, but it's going to be tough. So we really need to net 12 listings per day for basically a year to get to this total. I just chose a year because I want to see how long it would take to do it with a year. Obviously, we could do it in less time than that. We could do it in more time than that. But that seemed like a nice round number to sort of to go after. So anyway,
Darren says we should play music. We should play Selena in the background. Where's that?
Selena?
Where's that?
Who's Selena?
Where's that Selena CD we have?
Where was that Selena CD I had and I didn't buy?
Totally your fault. I wanted to get it for you.
She did it, Chad. She didn't let me buy it. I swear it was her.
You don't believe that for a second.
I know. It's so funny. But yeah, little disclosure there. I had a Selena CD in my hand earlier about what, 3 months ago, probably.
Oh yeah, beginning of the summer.
And I didn't buy it, and Chad just gave me grief. And I apologized to him. I was like, next time, I'm so sorry. I didn't know him as well then, and so, but he's like, I would have bought it off of you, and I was like, man, I'm sorry. Next time. So I always look, and I've never found one since. So go figure. Leisure says, I'd look at listing 1,000 for a goal, and maybe 1,500, maybe your next and after, and on and on. It might be to think about when you're talking about 4,900 items this time. Yeah, it's a big number, Leisure. No argument there. I mean, but we're not going to get there in a day or a week or a month, so I'm not going to sweat it. But I know what I need to do. It's just now making it happen. Mm-hmm. So we know what the numbers need to be. So now you just got to think, well, how can we make it happen?
And life is like we make these goals and we make these plans, and thank heaven they're fluid and they're flexible and we can adjust them, because every, life happens, and just about every week something's going on, and, right around the corner, school's going to start, or we have to do this or we have to do that. And with regard, and then, a couple weeks ago, they upped your limit.
Right.
And it's funny because what did it go? It went from what to what?
It's from 24 to 49.
Yeah, so it went to 2,400 to 4,900, and you think that would be a thing to celebrate, but Jason kind of came to me and he's like, "You're not going to believe this. They upped my limit again." No. I mean, it was a good thing, but it was kind of, it came along with it. Oh boy.
Well, you know why? And let me tell you why I was kind of a little down in the dumps about it. This is funny. So eBay upped my limit from 2,450 to 4,900. This is about 2-3 weeks, about a month ago almost now, maybe 3.5, 4 weeks. And I was a little down in the dumps when I texted her about it. And here's why, guys, because I wasn't at my previous limit anywhere near it. And when I saw that bigger number pop up, it made me remember that I'm not doing everything I could do here. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting maximum effort into this. And it made me realize that I'd set my bar for my expectations too low. And, I talked about this earlier today in the vlog. So when you set that bar really low, you can reach it easily. Mm-hmm. When you've got a low bar of expectations, like I just want to list 2 items today and I'm going to feel good about myself. Well, it's pretty easy to list 2 items in a day for most people. But when you set it low and you hit it, it doesn't really get you much. Like eventually you reach a point where like, man, I wish I could just, let's ramp this up. Let's do this. Let's turn this into a full-time business. Let's make this something bigger than us. But I realized it's like, man, eBay gave me the kick in the pants. Yvonne says, yeah, don't let them peer pressure you. They did, Yvonne. But you know what? The pressure came from within. I mean, because I looked at it and I went, man, I've got this huge store sitting there that's empty. And if I don't like my results, I have no one to blame but myself, because they're giving me the opportunity. They're saying, hey, come list 5,000 items if you want. We're here for you. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just list a little bit here, a little bit there, and then it'll be great. Okay, well, I can do that, but I'm not really stretching. So this is a stretch, guys, to go after this gene goal. I mean, it's a huge stretch, no doubt about it. And, I don't know what's going to happen. Like she was saying, things can happen, events can happen. And, we may have to change this all around 3 months from now. Who knows? But I think it's a cool thing to go after, right? It's like we get there to 4,900. That's a big achievement. It's not the 4,900. It's the fact that we had a goal and we went after it and we did it, and we had to do it better than we'd ever done before. We set a really high bar of expectations and we hit it. And I think that's something to be celebrated.
What did eBay start you at? What's the starting number? Like you can sell like one thing or 8 things or?
They started me originally at 10.
Okay. And I can remember when they started you at 10. And then what was the next jump after that?
It was like 20 or 30.
And then it went kind of more.
Yeah, it went to like 60 and 120. And
I didn't get it at the time. But Jason's, his idea every time the limit went up and the listings weren't there yet is that you were losing money.
Right.
And I never got that. I'm like, how are you losing money? You know, you have your things listed, but it's lost. It's unwhatevered opportunity. What's the word? But yeah. So you have the ability to list it. So why not fill up those spots?
Yeah.
And, you know, now we're at a point where it's going to take a lot more effort to get to that point. But you're absolutely right. It's like having a retail store that's only half full. Yeah.
Or, you know, the example I've used before is, guys, would you go, say you wanted to open a brick and mortar store. Why would you go open, let's say, a 4,000 square foot store and only put 1,000 square feet worth of product in it, or 500 square feet? I mean, that would make no logical sense. But that's kind of what it is. When you have these big stores, when you got 5,000 items on eBay or on Amazon that you can list, you're not utilizing. So think about how you can do that. And you know what? You're going to sell through, and it's going to be harder and harder to list because you're going to keep selling. As you keep getting your listings higher and higher, you're going to sell more and more, which is going to make it even tougher. But so what? You're making profit. You know, you're getting somewhere with that. You know, so why not go after it? See how far you get. You know, you may not get to your limit, but so what? You set a high expectation and you went after it. And I think that's what, you know, life is all about, setting high expectations. Anyway.
There's a lot of funny people on that.
Yeah, I know. You guys are going, I know, right? And some people in the chat earlier today had huge store totals.
Yeah.
And none of them were at it, guys. And eBay, of course, is trying to get you to list that much because they know if you list that much, you're going to sell a lot more. They're going to make more money.
More money for eBay.
But so are you. But so are you, you know? So I don't know. I think it all works hand in hand, but, you know, we're just going to go after it. And I know I've gotten some feedback from people who think, man, that doesn't make sense. Why jeans? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I get the negativity. I get the criticism. I get people saying, you know, that's not the right decision. You should sell this instead. You should do that instead. I get it. I get it. And you're absolutely entitled to your opinions. And often your opinions have great merit. I don't argue that. But this is what we chose to do. This is the challenge we've set before ourselves. So it's what we're going to go after. Anyway, 51 viewers tonight, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Man, that's awesome. I'm really glad you guys came on tonight. And, you know, it does Karin good too. She's had a tough day. Actually, she's had a.
You can tell I'm very disappointed to be unemployed now.
Yeah, she's very disappointed to be unemployed, but you can really tell she's real broken up. But I do appreciate it. And Darren says, do you have the eBay store? Yeah, I do have a store, Darren. I don't know. I don't think Chad's here in the room. I don't think he does. I thought about getting rid of it. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's really that useful or not.
Well,
maybe it's just an extra expense.
What's the benefit to having a store?
Well, that's a great question.
So what's the benefit, Prof Sales, to having a store on eBay?
Maybe we need to do a video on that.
I think maybe we should.
Yeah. So, I mean, people have different opinions on that. I don't know. It's extra expense and so on, but I don't know.
Yes, I have a store, of course.
Oh, Chad does have one. Okay. See, I was just trying to draw Chad out and see if he had a store, and it worked. Sales. Oh man, that's amazing. That's pretty funny. But yeah, the sales, having the sales is you know, is one benefit of it. You can run a sale, you can't do that. So, and that's what I'm doing now.
Well, Lance asked what you transitioned to in the slow summer. We're actually coming out of the slow summer.
Yeah, it should be transitioning out of that shortly.
We listed more on Amazon. And
yeah.
Then we started the great Jean Odyssey of 2016.
Yes. It's like, yes, that's a good point for it.
Yes.
Brian says, what % do you mark down? We did 20% in July, Brian. And then 10% I'm doing for basically the next week. So we'll see how that goes. I find with you, I don't know, guys, if there's something weird about that, but I find when I run a sale for the next probably 12 hours or so, maybe even 24, it's like my sales kind of slow down a lot of times. And it could just be coincidence, but I almost wonder like if somehow it's re-indexing your listings and, you know, I don't know. But so I'm not going to worry about it probably for a couple days until I see, you know, what I'm at, and then start assessing how well the sale's doing. But it doesn't matter. I mean, you do things, you change things, and it evolves, right?
Darren says you get a $25 towards supplies from eBay. Aren't those the boxes that we send stuff to Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are. They're nice boxes. I mean, they're not bad.
Thanks, eBay.
Yeah, I'm using them. They came in handy last week. I had something really strange I had to ship to FBA. It was like a weird size, and it diagonally fit just perfect in the eBay box. So I didn't have to go get another box or one that I'd bought.
Oh, a midnight sale? That's a thing?
Have a midnight sale. Yeah. Chad says, I think you get deeper stats. Yeah, I think that's true as well. I mean, there's definitely benefits to it. You know, the big question, guys, is, you know, does it affect your sales? You know, not just being able to do the markdowns and things like that, but does it actually give you extra exposure, or, you know, you rank higher in the searches? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, you can drive yourself nuts thinking about all that stuff, and I try not to go too crazy on it. Darren says, I noticed a jump in sales when I list. That's the only thing I've noticed. Yeah, I agree with that, Darren. I think listing does help. It seems to. But I did listing and the new sale today, so it's kind of been damped down since I did that today. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not going to sweat it.
Well, and Lance says that sales have been slow this month on jeans for us. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they actually slowed down for us when? Starting June?
Probably, yeah, late May, June, somewhere around there.
June, July, August. We should start seeing an upswing. And then September, you know, we can compare to last year. September will be gangbusters. So we need to get as many listed as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed. All right. Well, listen, guys, 54 people are watching tonight. That's awesome. I appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button. We're probably going to cut this off here in a little bit, maybe another question or two. We've been up a long time. We had kind of a long weekend, both of us. And so we're just trying to kind of get back on our good sleep schedule. We forgot to turn on the AC last night. That was a mistake, right?
What time did you wake up this morning?
Like 5:01, which sucked. But anyway, Mr. Sadie says, have you noticed a difference since you started changing from GDC to 30 days? Sorry for your answer already. Yeah, yeah, maybe it's helping, Mr. Sadie. I'm not sure, though. I don't know. But it seems like the 30-day listings are selling more than the GTCs. So, sure, maybe. Good question. If a listing is older and you do a sale, does it help? This is why I'm going to Shopify, since listings on Google will always be fresh. Add in Pinterest and Instagram. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. If you do, Lance is saying if your listing is older and you do a sale, it helps. Pushes up in the rankings and so on. Darren says 501 equals early start to 5,000 listings. Yeah. Yeah, at 501, I wasn't thinking about listings. I was thinking about why am I awake?
Did you answer that before?
How many sales do you average a day, Jason? Jeans right now, Darren, is averaging about 4.5 to 5 is kind of where I'm at. So close to that 1% number, but not quite there yet. Mike, on the other hand, sells a ton of jeans. So go Mike. And Mike and I are going to do a video. He committed today.
Hi, Mike.
So Pittsburgh Mike. So maybe next week, Mike, we can make it work. That'll probably work for me. So we'll talk.
You have to wear a cool t-shirt.
Nothing from Pittsburgh. No, we're just kidding. You can wear Pittsburgh. We're kidding. I'm doing it next week. There you go. So, yeah, so, you know, guys, and that's one thing, you know, the Gene Challenge is all transparent. So, you know, I share my spreadsheets with you guys. You're going to see how this works as we go. And we're going to hit these goals, hopefully, and we're going to see where it takes us. Nothing else. You'll be able to learn from our successes, our failures, and
our
obviously,
trials and tribulations. And
I know. One day I'm just going to come on camera and just be stacks of jeans in this room all around. I want to be able to move probably, but anyway, it'll be fun.
Hi, Ron. Ron said hi to me, so I think I should say hi.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so I'll challenge him with my most obscure shirt. Love my shirts. Chad does have some good shirts. Right on, right on. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks again for coming out. Thank you to my lovely co-host. And I'm so glad she's going to be working with me more now that she's gone from her job, or will be gone from her job. Leave me a comment once this video posts if you'd like. And of course, the like button is always appreciated. I do that. And you guys are the reason we do this. I'm wearing a Kelly Kapowski. Wow. He went back there, Saved by the Bell. Sorry, that one made me laugh. But yeah, leave me comments, guys. I do like hearing from you guys. I try to answer all of them. If I've missed it, I do apologize. The channel's getting a little larger, so it is sometimes tough to catch every comment. Occasionally, I do miss one. It's not personal. I will answer it if I see it. So, all right, guys, well, that's going to do it.
Oh, and this is Prof Sales and Karin saying, good sales to you.
Good night.
Good night.